Speaker, I move to second this Division of Revenue Bill as moved by the Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to inform the House that the committee had really taken very diligent steps in terms of subjecting the bill to public participation, where a number of stakeholders have participated, including the National Treasury, Commission of Revenue Allocation, Council of Governors, Institute of Certified Public Accountants, International Budget Partnership, Institute of Economic Affairs, County Assemblies Forum, Katiba Institute, the Rift Valley Budget Hub, the Lake Region Hub, and the Youth Senate of Kenya, in terms of trying to pick the opinions that they had in coming up with a recommendation to this House. Mr. Speaker, the most important issue that we picked as a committee is the fact that the bill had an error in terms of the anchoring of the base of the bill. The bill considered the base for allocation, both by CRA and also our colleagues in the National Assembly, as 374 as opposed to 385.425 billion, which is anchored in the Act of Parliament, which is Division of Revenue Act, that is a law. And hence, that error cascaded into an erroneous indication of consideration that indicated that the bill had considered an increase of allocation to county governments of 16.6 billion, whereas the actual allocation as considered was only 5.6 billion or thereabout. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have also thoroughly interrogated the bill, and we realize a major error, Mr. Speaker, because whereas the Council of Governors appeared before the committee of the Standing Committee of Finance and Budget, but the Council of Governors have also been making a feel-good political statement whereby they end up making pronouncement like we will share 50-50 to a national agenda that is shared by the executive, without looking at the implication that was going to have on their budget, such as county, the issues of, aggregation of markets, which they said they'll have 50-50, issues to do with community health promoters. They also said, without looking at the budget implication, that they're going to share in 50-50. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we interrogated, we also looked at issues that the Majority Leader has, shared in them. There are legislations that have financial implication to county governments that it is the agenda of the national government to pass. For example, the housing levy, the issues of NSSF, and that the implication it will have on the payroll of county governments is an issue that we looked. And in looking at these issues, Mr. Speaker, sir, we determined there are issues that are non-discretionary expenditure that the county governments will not be able to really avoid. For example, issues to do with the current strike of doctors, which the national government, through the Ministry of Health, have already committed that they're going to pay the arrears amounting to over 3 billion shillings in terms of when the CPA was signed and up to 2024. But from when the arrears are settled, county governments are required to inherit that expenditure directly. And that also amounted to an average expenditure of about 5.8 billion shillings, which is not discretionary. There is no way the county governments will be able to reduce this expenditure. Once they inherit, the doctors have to be paid because that is an expenditure, and the payroll numbers are going to increase. And hence, it's non-discretionary expenditure to county governments because they have got to foot that bill of 5.8 billion shillings. And we also looked at the impact housing levy will have, which came to about 4 billion shillings to county governments in terms of what the payroll impact in terms of upward growth. We also looked at the enhanced contribution to National Social Security Fund, which amounted to about 3 billion shilling, which is going to really adversely impact on the payroll of the county governments in terms of the overall, effect of this. And these are legislations that are passed nationally. We are all subject to that such legislation. Looked at this issue that the county governors have made, some political statement and made commitment that had very serious financial implication of 11.75 billion, because the national government was going to contribute 250 million, and the county governments have committed to match it up by contributing another 250 billion. The cumulative effect of 250 million times 47 counties is 11.75 billion. Most of them have advertised that they did not have any money in the budget to be able to make good in terms of making sure that construction has happened. So where will that bill go if 11.7 billion shilling from county aggregation and industrial parks is an impact on the budget? And yet the proposal in the current bill is moving it from 385.425 to 391. Already 11.75 billion is increased on only one item. And we looked at the issue of matching allocation commitment, another feel-good political commitment by governors without looking at the impact it has. And when they appear before the committee, they start saying these are numbers that is impacting us negatively in terms of the payroll structure, in terms of paying community health promoters. Why then commit if you are not able to meet? And then when we look at that, the impact also comes to 3.23 billion shilling on the payroll. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I was a governor for 10 years, and I'll keep on saying this because experience is not replaceable sometimes by other issues. If you look, Mandera County did not have, dialysis machine. It did not have a CT scan. It did not have advanced X-ray machines. Today they have, thanks to medical equipment services. Now that structure of medical equipment services has ceased into being, and county governments have either obsolete equipment that require replacement, or they need to service this. This has not also been built anywhere. In the wisdom of the committee, we looked at the importance of enhancing service delivery at the grassroots level, at the county level, for county governments, which is an issue that the national government came up with its wisdom, and many people that used to seek dialysis from Nairobi by traveling and paying so much are able to seek dialysis in their respective counties thanks to these shared medical, medical equipment services that was put in place through national government policy and supported by county government. But it has since been discontinued. Then the question that we puzzled the committee is the question of then what happens now? And these services have already been introduced. Are we going to subject our public to a situation where they'll have to seek such services from bigger hospitals or level 5 hospitals? Or do we need to support to make sure that the bare minimum services that have been put in place are able to be kept so that those services do not, we don't fall back. But even if we can't improve, then we should be able to sustain. And as such, we have looked at allocation of 5.64 billion for that purpose. And then there is the issue of the IPPD automatic wage bill adjustment that happens without any consultation with anybody. And for that factor, we also said it is only realistic for a factor of about 2.857 billion be allocated for that purpose. Mr. Speaker, sir, I appeal to the senators to get to understand that, it is the determination, the commitment of this government, Kenya Kwanza government, to make sure devolution is protected and services are improved at those levels. But then when from the start, We are working on a situation because the Constitution has capped. The shareable revenue will be from the last audited and approved account, which is for 2020-2021. We're already behind. And the figures we are looking at is from 2020-2021, when the current financial year is 2023-2024, that is ongoing. And we looked at it from the wisdom of the fact that all these items that I've listed are non-discretionary expenditure to county government. That is not something you can tell, okay, we've solved the doctors' strike, and now county governments, you are inheriting the bill. However, there is no corresponding allocation. And 5.8 billion shilling, county governments, we tell them, okay, you need to pay the doctors. Where will they get the money to pay the doctors when they're already struggling and the marginal growth of the revenues allocated to county governments has already been extremely marginal in terms of very small figures that were not even enough to cater for the normal inflationary expenditures in these county governments. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I appeal to my colleagues and I share with them this critical information, this committee has recommended the vertical share of revenue between the national government and county governments for the national government at 2,524,318,490,857. For the county equitable share, this committee has recommended 415,952,200,000. This is arrived at by making those adjustments that we have said. The Commission of Revenue Allocation has recommended 398 billion. The bill as approved by the National Assembly has recommended 391. The base, the previous financial year DORA, is 385.425. I would like to appeal to this House that since we represent the interest of the nation by making sure that devolution works at the county level, that reduces pressure on the national government in terms of the perception of the national government when healthcare works, the provision of water services works, the issue of roads work, and issues to do with personnel, being paid commensurate to their work also works. That the bare minimum we came up with is that, using that wisdom, as I support, I would like to appeal to the House to concur with the committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, I support. Thank you.